Thanks, guys. Thanks for the opportunity, and thanks for everyone for tuning in. We're going to, at Blackstone, we're just going to talk about some of the challenges and opportunities that we're seeing in the industry going forward over the coming years. We see this as probably one of the biggest drivers for the industry, the mining industry going forward. So we've got this trend towards greening or environmentally friendly and sustainable mining, but also it's being driven from an investing point of view. So we've got this push towards sustainable investing, ESG focus, and that's really driving where the money comes from. And I think in a way that's really what's pushing everything towards a greener energy future. But it's really coming back to the institutional fund managers are getting pushed from their investors. You need to be focusing on ESG. So you need to be looking at environmental, social, and governance. And I think the other thing that's interesting is that the institutional investors are saying, if you get your ESG in order, it's a proxy for running a good company. So most people that get the investment are the ones that are ticking all the boxes from an ESG compliance perspective. So it's not just the right way to do it, but it's actually the right way to make money, because if you're doing it sustainably, then you can keep that business running over the long term. And so we're seeing a real push, particularly at Blackstone, towards this this idea of sustainable investing and a focus on ESG, and even at a very early stage. So we're an exploration development company, and we're already seeing this push towards greening and keeping an eye on everything that's from an environmental, social, and governance perspective. And so that brings us to what we're trying to achieve in northern Vietnam. So the previous owners have built a great little mine. They've built an underground mine. They've built a concentrator, and we're very lucky that we've got a grid power, which is hydro grid power. So we have renewable energy on our doorstep. So we're in a very strong position where the previous owners of the mine obviously were benefited by the fact that we've got renewable power on our doorstep. So we've got the largest hydro grid power plant in Southeast Asia, in the Son La province of northern Vietnam, just down the road from what is going to be a great little nickel mine. So the previous owners built a small underground mine. We're looking at potentially a very large open pit mine or underground mines. But we're also looking to build a downstream processing facility to produce nickel sulfate. And the best part about that is that we can also build that downstream processing facility with renewable power. So we can keep the focus on environmental, social, and governance, and we're going to look after the people, the local people, and we're going to do this sustainably for the long term. So this is an opportunity to build a mine for the next 10, 20 years, and with a very low carbon footprint. And we will be focused on that as we believe that that's where the investment dollar is coming. It's going to be very much focused on these ESG aspects. This is just showing what we've achieved recently. We're drilling out this new target. It's 2.5 kilometers away from the concentrator. It's called Ban Chang, and every hole we're drilling is hitting massive sulfides. But I think what's important about this is it's most likely that the Ban Chang target is an underground mine, which gives us an opportunity to potentially minimize our footprint and look towards an underground mine. And we're also really considering what that means for our ESG footprint. So you can see here on a cross section, we've got a narrow vein, nickel, copper, platinum, palladium, cobalt. So all the metals that go into the lithium ion battery. So we are using our I suppose, underground mine to access the key components of the lithium ion battery. And because it's an underground mine, we believe that we can minimize our carbon footprint through electrifying the underground mining equipment. So this is happening today. So this is, we have a picture here of a jumbo, a bogger, and a truck. These are battery powered underground mining equipment. zero emission underground mining equipment is in the market today. So we have this opportunity whereby we can bring in underground mining equipment with zero emission and zero carbon footprint, and improve the underground environment and the ventilation. So it reduces ventilation requirements, reduces the requirement for cooling. It means that we can potentially mine much deeper with the less ventilation, because we have zero emission potential for zero emission underground battery powered mining equipment. This is also being looked at from an open pit mining perspective. So Anglo American have already looking at a 290 ton electrified haul truck for open pit mining. So there's this movement towards zero emission, fully electric underground, but also the potential for open pit. So this, we believe, is going to drive the future of investing in the mining industry through reducing carbon footprint. And particularly from a perspective, from Blackstone's perspective, we are looking to deliver a lithium-ion battery product which is focused on the green energy future. So it's even more appropriate that we reduce and minimise our carbon footprint through electrification of our mobile fleet. I think that's about it for me for today. I'll obviously take questions. Check your local social media channels. We're obviously getting some good news out there. We're starting to get, I suppose, a lot of interest around this Chang opportunity. But I think one thing that people didn't realise is that Chang has the potential for a zero carbon footprint at our mine in northern Vietnam. Thank you for your time.
Thanks very much, Scott. I guess, look, let's touch first on costs, you know, a reduced carbon mining footprint. How do costs change compared to how it could have previously been done?
Yeah, it's a good question. So what we can say is that the hydro grid power is some of the cheapest power you can generate. So we're getting 7 cents per kilowatt hour from the hydro grid power grid, and that's probably half of what you'd expect from a diesel operated power plant. So maybe even better than that. So what I think it comes back to, okay, if you've got electric equipment, where's the electricity come from? If it's come from the hydro grid, then you're on the right track. If you're plugging in your electric equipment into a grid that's diesel powered, it obviously defeats the whole purpose. So we're in this very strong position where we've got the renewable power, we've got the very low power costs, and then so that will flow through to increase efficiency. So that one thing that people probably don't realise is that this equipment is more productive. You're getting better TKMs. All the productive measures are there as well as the fact that we're not burning carbon, and we're reducing our mining costs. So and processing costs, obviously, for the processing plant.
Yeah, it's definitely a new way forward, Scott. How many other companies are adopting this, or are you a bit of a front runner?
Yeah, it's a good question. I know that some of the companies in Australia are looking at this, but like I said, it sort of comes back to where your power is coming from. So if you're generating renewable power, then it makes sense because you're getting that cost benefit all the way through. So it's not adopted as much as you'd expect. It is a fairly new product, so we expect it to roll out over time. But yeah, there's definitely elements of this happening, but more so I think in the light vehicle space than the heavy equipment. So yeah, I've worked in mines in Australia that have operated electric equipment. So the large mines around New South Wales, Cadia, North Parks, they use a similar thing, but it's not battery powered. It has a cable running behind it. So there's elements of this happening already, but not in a battery pack type scenario, which is what which we believe is the future of underground mining.
And I guess just a final one, Scott, sort of what are the challenges and opportunities, I guess, putting this to potential shareholders or stakeholders, where some may be embracing the new social investing, whereas others might be more old school. What are you finding yourself at your level?
Yeah, obviously, if it adds costs, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to sell that sort of story. But the fact that it potentially reduces costs because we can tap into our lower power costs, but also increases productivity. So it's actually, we believe it'll be, I suppose, the making of this mine. So and I think that as mining executives, we can't not look at all of these things and be looking at the best way to sustainably mine, and it actually increases the amount of funding that is available. So there's funding opportunities that are now opening up to us because we can mine in a more sustainable fashion. So it's actually a massive opportunity for all mining companies to access further funding and potentially, So we believe that this is, as long as you've got the productivity and the cost benefit on your side, which we do, it's obviously a bit of a no-brainer. If you're burning diesel to plug into your electric jumbo, then it's sort of a little bit more difficult to sell that story.